When you start out on your run, your breathing may become heavy and the heart pumps harder. When you run longer and consistently enough, chances are you will experience runner's high, a deeply euphoric and blissful state of mind. Same with marketing. In the beginning it may feel hard, but once you turn it into a habit, it becomes a fun thing to do. Matthias here again. Today I show you a fast way to get going with your marketing every time you decide to do it. And it's not about hard work, it's about the structures you set up once and enjoy marketing energy forever. If you are anything like me, you procrastinate on marketing if it takes your brain too many calories to answer these basic questions. What do I want to write, tweet or film about today? Where does my audience hang out so I can see their questions and give them answers? Where do I publish at this time? On my blog, on social media, in my newsletter, on YouTube, whatever. Where's my marketing material? For example, my photos, text snippets or videos. And finally, where are my tools that I typically use? In a previous episode, I talked about how to create a content plan so you always know what to publish next. So the first question should already have been answered. It's in your content plan. But the other 4 questions need answers too. And that's why I use a simple system with 4 buckets where I put my marketing stuff so that I always have it handy. These 4 buckets are places, channels, materials and tools. Have clarity about those 4 and you're good to go. Watch people who gather in places. Create a story about how they can solve the problem they talk about. And use a channel to reach those people right where they are. Enrich your story with some material and use the right tools to tell it. I always create bookmarks for each place, channel, material and tool. And next, I'll show you how I use them in my weekly marketing workflow. If marketing and sales were a photo safari in Africa, you would rather visit the watering holes where the wild animals come to drink. My places are Indie Hackers, Product Hunt, Hacker News, Reddit, any place where solopreneurs hang out and talk about their marketing problems. Recently, I wrote an answer to Andrew Stewart on his Indie Hackers post, "I think my product is awesome, but promotion feels awkward and futile." I said, you don't need to build an audience. Go to where your audience already hangs out. No need to build a Twitter or LinkedIn following. You only need a group of people who have a problem that you can and want to solve. This group need not be your own following. It can be anybody's following. Or it can be a group on social media network like a LinkedIn group, for example. Anyway, they only need to be visible, understandable, reachable and addressable by what you have to say. No need to build that group first. Find an existing bunch of people who satisfy those criteria and you're good to go. At least when you see them talk about a confirmed problem. You don't need to shout from a mountain. Your marketing doesn't need to tell people how good your product is. This was really a biggie for me because I'm a typical non-bragger, a modest person. You only need to tell people about how well you understand their problem and how awesome their lives will be once they solve their problem using your product. This is what works for me. I blog first, then I repurpose what I wrote on email and social media. Writing the blog helps me clarify my thoughts and express myself clearly. I always start with a short post that will take a visitor no more than about 5 minutes to consume. At a reading speed of 250 words per minute, it means that the post needs to be around 1250 words long. Every blog post I write needs to start with a problem or premise, followed by a promise about what the reader will learn. Next, There are several value sections, each one with an interesting headline, so the reader can quickly skim them to see whether they want to read the entire piece or not. At the end, every post needs a call to action so that my readers will do the most important first step that I want them to do. You can publish your story online on various channels. I repurpose a blog post in 5 different channels. On ConvertKit as a newsletter, on Medium as an article, on Substack as a post and a newsletter, on Transistor as a podcast, and on YouTube as a video. Start small. Don't try to do this all at once. Get one channel working, then add another and another. Depending on the channel, you need some material to make your message interesting and beautiful. For a blog post, you might need images. For videos, you need stock footage, still images, sound effects, or music. For a podcast, you may need music as well. I get my images from Deposit Photos and from Unsplash. You can find stock footage for videos on Pexels. And finally, Epidemic Sound is a great site to get good music for your videos and podcasts. Beautiful, huh? Filling a blank page with a complete story is difficult. Therefore, I write an outline with several subheadings first. Then I fill the white space between those subheadings. To get the first headlines and the sentences in between, I use toquiettomarket.com. It helps you position your product correctly, compose the basic story structure, and write about 3 interesting sentences per section. It even connects to GPT to spice up my rather bland and factual copy. Once I get the blog post out, my static site generator adds it to the blog's RSS feed. I use Substack to consume that RSS feed and turn each blog post into a newsletter. I also copy the blog post into ConvertKit and add it to the weekly newsletter sequence. Finally, I use a short piece of JavaScript that takes the markdown file of the blog post and publishes it as a draft on Medium. I finish that draft manually, adding images and some formatting, and hit publish at the end. Finally, I take the same blog post and use it as a script for my next video for the Reluctant Marketer channel here on YouTube. My preferred video editing tool is DaVinci Resolve by Blackmagic Design. Most of its features are already contained in the free version. Awesome! As I said, start small. Don't try to do all this at once. Get one channel working, then add another and another. Now here is the pro tip for today. Make sure that you have all 4 buckets in place so you don't need to search for them every time you want to start marketing. You'll never run out of energy for marketing anymore because with that 4 bucket structure you'll be ready and up to speed every time. If you need to search for your places, channels, material or tools, it will slow you down and throw you back into procrastinating your marketing. So what can you do to have everything handy each time? The answer is bake it into your workflow so that the 4 buckets give you the structure and energy you need. My tool, To Quiet to Market, supports the structure natively, and if you need more, you can create your own structures as well. To Quiet to Market also helps you to get these jobs done, especially as a reluctant marketer. First of all, get your positioning right so that your product looks totally awesome to your future customers. Then compose stories about how great your customers will feel once they solve their problem using your product. Third, define bookmarks and tag them as places, channels, material and tools, the 4 buckets we just talked about. And then design marketing experiments and run them regularly on the channels you planned to reach the audience you want. Sign up for tooquiettomarket.com, your automated marketing consultant, today.